Hello, and welcome to Multidimensional Wavelength. In this video, I'd like to share with you something that I've learned through meditating the other day. So let me start by saying there's a shift happening at this time. I know I've personally felt it, and I know other people who are typically of a high vibrational nature who have also been feeling kind of off, or that there are certain things that typically they'll have usually under control, and now whether it's any kind of facet in their life, something just seems off, like it's a little bit harder to handle. And so I decided to meditate on this and figure out exactly what's happening or why, and what we can do either individually or collectively in order to kind of snap ourselves out of it so that everybody can kind of get back on track. So whenever you obviously listen to this message is when you're meant to hear it. It's not necessarily the day that it goes out. So as I was meditating, what I saw was the wavelengths, or the kind of graph looking things that you see in front of you. And let me start off by saying that the main picture that you see of that kind of little waterfall, so Spirit wants us to be fluid like water so that our energies can flow naturally through us, through our chakras, and kind of do its thing. Now, obviously, as that water is going down, you can probably tell it. So it looks like a very beautiful picture, and it was very nice when I took that picture. But it's all a matter of perspective. You see it as not being the waterfall, and that you are looking at it. So what I got was, if you kind of turn the tables a little bit and you see it from another perspective, the perspective of the water, that's when you realize it might not be as beautiful as it seems. So yes, the water's coming down, and it might have that sense of freedom initially flying through the air. But as it combines with other water, it's gonna start to swirl, crash into other particles of water, hitting almost every friggin' rock that it finds on its way down. And thinking about being that water and seeing it from that perspective, as much as we know water is a natural healer, especially when it flows, but to put yourself in the perspective of that water, of those certain challenges, or being in an uncomfortable position on its way down before it hits that serene, kind of just flowing river. It's going through a lot of changes really quickly. So what Spirit told me was, it's exactly like the two graphs that I've kind of laid out in front of you. So the one that you see on your left, which you would refer to as exponential, it's a quick rise. So when you look at your life or how things are going, it's very quick, and it's very dependent. Certain situations like that rise very quickly are very driven or dependent by a certain factor, and it's typically one major factor. So it could be you've come into either a really good new job, you fell into a bunch of money, you might be starting off to a really nice relationship, just a whole bunch of things that, like, bigger sort of events in your life that things are just going awesome. But there's a downside to that, kind of like the water perspective of seeing the flip side of that, where yes, there was that one major event or thing that happened to kind of skyrocket you up. But on the flip side, if you take that away, whatever it may have been, and you look at it from top to bottom, you'll notice it's a pretty friggin' steep slide. And it's a pretty fast fall down. So, from that being said, what I was getting from Spirit afterwards was kind of like the graph that you would see, or I don't even know if you'd consider it a graph, but what you see as a drawing on the right of there will be those pretty steep inclines based on typically a certain event. However, over time, you'll see that it starts to create those bumps along the way. So it acts as kind of like a safety net, or I'm getting like the visual of like what's it called? Like a checkpoint or a save point in a game, if you play video games, where if you were to fall, you won't fall all the way back down. And that if you do happen to go down over that little bump and then down another one, that it would really take a lot for you to, what I'm getting is you really had to consciously make a choice that you know isn't specifically for your highest good in order to fall down kind of another rung of the ladder or another slope like that. So when you look at it as a matter of perspective, what you'd actually find out is just that the slope or the graph on the left, a bunch of those make up the one that is on the right. So if you compartmentalize it or break it down a little bit, it's each certain event building you up. So now that you see kind of like a bigger picture of how things work and how you can only fall so far if you were to fall, but also the lesson of not really being dependent or reliant on a certain factor, situation, circumstance, whatever you want to call it, to not be dependent on just one, and that it's really a culmination of different events and things that help you to reach another checkpoint so that you continue to rise. So hopefully, with that being said, my hope with this video is that you take away the idea of perspective, of seeing things from multiple angles, seeing pieces of a puzzle, while also being able to recognize the picture of the whole puzzle, or the trajectory that your life's going on. So hopefully this helps somebody, or whoever needed to hear it. I'm sure that you're hearing it. But I think that's going to do it for this video. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you feel like this video could help someone else or help to explain maybe how somebody else's life is going right now to them, please feel free to share it with them. And as always, I hope that you have a blessed... I thank you for your time. And I also hope that you have a blessed day filled with love and light.